Good morning, children. Today we are going to start transpiration process. Now this transpiration process, it is a physiological process of plants. Now transpiration means the loss of water from the plant. So where this water comes from, children? You know that plants continuously absorb water from the soil by their roots. Now this water, it is conducted upward in the stem and other aerial parts of the plant. So only some amount of water is utilized by the plant in activities like photosynthesis and some other activities, and rest of the water is lost in the atmosphere in the form of water vapor. This results transpiration process. So transpiration, it is the loss of water in the form of water vapor from the leaves and other aerial parts of plant. So transpiration is very useful for the plants because transpiration enables the root to absorb the water, and it also provides cooling effect to the plant. So let us, children, do one experiment to show that transpiration is done in plant, or loss of water is in the form of water vapor by transpiration. So for this experiment we have to take one medium sized well watered potted plant, and this well watered potted plant is covered with a polythene bag and the base of the stem. Now we have to leave this experiment in sunlight for 2 or 3 hours. After some time, or after 2 or 3 hours, you will see that drops of water, they appear on the inner side of the bag due to the saturation of water vapors which are given out by the leaves. Now here the experiment, see how you can do this experiment. You can do this at home also, children. So take a well watered potted plant. Well watered potted plant means plant which you are going to take, it should have water in it. Then it is polythene sheet is here. We have covered this plant with a polythene sheet and leave it as it is. Then after some time you will see water droplets, they come from this plant. Okay, so this shows that plant release water in the atmosphere. Okay, so next experiment is another experiment we are going to take. In this we are going to take three bell jars. Here see, three bell jars we have taken. Two bell jars in which potted plants are kept, and one jar which is without plant. So pot is covered with a polythene. Again this pot is covered with a polythene, and this bell jar is empty. And in this also one modification is done. Cobalt chloride paper is taken. Now this cobalt chloride paper, when it comes in contact with the moisture, it turns pink. It is blue in color, it turns pink. And here also we have taken cobalt chloride paper. Okay, children. So here potted plant is there. So after some time you will see water droplets on the inside the bell jar. Now here also water droplets inside the bell jar, but in this the cobalt chloride, it turns pink in color because of the presence of moisture in it. And in this experiment there is no change. Why there is no change? Because there is no plant over here, so there are no water droplets there, so there is no change. So this shows that plants transfer water in the form of water vapors from the aerial parts. Okay, so this experiment is a controlled experiment, children. So that means without plant there is no water here. Next is measurement of transpiration. So there are several methods for measuring transpiration. Number one is weighing method. In this, children, we are going to take small light weighted plant, and weight can be done before starting the experiment. This plant is kept in a measuring jar which is filled with water, and the level of the water is also noted down. Then after keeping the plant in sunlight, then in 2 to 3 hours we'll observe that there is loss in weight of the plant, and there is also decrease in the level of water in the measuring flask. This shows that plant transpire. Now next method is potometer method. Now this potometer, it is a device which is used to measure the rate of water intake by the plant. So most common is the Genong's potometer. In this, children, a capillary tube, a beaker is there, and a water reservoir is also there. Now this capillary tube, it has measuring scale So in this experiment, what we are going to do, first we have taken a twig which is kept in a capillary tube and a beaker which is filled with colored water. Now again here we have taken air bubble which is introduced in this capillary tube with a precaution. Now when keep this experiment for some time, after some time you'll see there is a change in the breathing of the bubble, or bubble moves from one place to another place. So how this happens? Because due to transpiration, a suction force is done in the capillary tube, and due to this suction force, the air bubble which is present inside this capillary tube, if it moves from its position. So this is shows that what the rate of transpiration through the potometer method. Now kinds of transpiration, children. So transpiration is done from the aerial parts of the plant, and it is done from three different regions. First one is the stomatal transpiration, then directly from the surface of the leaves or the stem, it is known as cuticular transpiration, and from the lenticels which are present on the oldest stem, they are known as lenticels, and it is known as lenticular transpiration. Now the major portion of the water, it is transpired through the stomata. Now what are stomatas? These are the minute openings which are present on the epidermal layer of the leaves. Now these stomatas, they are surrounded by two bean-shaped structures which are known as guard cells, and during the daytime these stomatas, they remain open for the intake of carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. Now come to mechanism of stomatal transpiration. Children, you know that stomatas, they are minute openings and they are present in the epidermal layer of leaves. Now these stomata, they are surrounded by two guard cells, and during daytime these guard cells, they open, and the stomata, they are wide open for the intake of carbon dioxide for photosynthesis process. Now in stomatal transpiration, the water escapes through the stomata of the leaf, and this water, after absorption from the root, they rises up to the stem and they reaches to the tissues of the leaf. Now palisade cells and spongy cells are present in between the upper and the lower epidermis, and this water which escapes from the cells, they get saturated in the intercellular spaces with the air. So here see, this is upper epidermis, lower epidermis, and mesophyll cells are present which are divided into palisade mesophyll and spongy mesophyll cells. So water, they get ooze out from these intercellular spaces from these cells with the process of diffusion, and through the diffusion process the water gets into these intercellular spaces. Here they saturates with the air and they form vapors. Now this vapors, they goes out from this stomatal opening into the atmosphere. During the daytime only the process of transpiration takes place, because in the day the stomatas are open for the intake of carbon dioxide for photosynthesis process, but during night the stomatas, they get closed because photosynthesis process stops, and guard cells, they lost the turgidity, and due to flaccid condition stomatas get closed. Now figure 5.7 also shows the movement of water through a leaf. Here children see the cell sac which exerts turgor pressure on the outward of the cell wall, and this pressure forces some water out of the cell wall and the air space in between these cells. Here the water evaporates in the form of water vapor and it diffuses out into the atmosphere. Here see movement of by osmosis, that is water which is entering inside the cell. This is through osmosis process. Intercellular spaces are there, and these cells, they exert some pressure on the cell wall. That means turgor pressure is there which is exerted on the cell wall, and they ooze out this water in these intercellular spaces. From these intercellular spaces the water gets saturated with the air and they form vapors, and this vapor, they goes out from the stomatal opening. Now next is an experiment to show that transpiration occurs most under surface of the dicot leaf. So there are more stomatas on the undersurface of a dicot leaf as compared to the monocot leaf. So here is an experiment to prove that we have taken two leaves of a dorsiventral leaf. Then here on the undersurface of the leaf we put cobalt chloride paper with the help of a clip, and on the upper surface of a leaf we provide cobalt chloride paper with the help of a clip, and we have left this experiment in sunlight for few hours. After a few hours we will see that the cobalt chloride paper which is present below the surface of the leaf, it turns pink, whereas the paper which is present on the upper surface of the leaf, it turns pink, but it takes much longer time as compared to the paper which is present on the lower surface of the leaf. This shows that more stomata are present on the lower surface of leaf, and more faster is the transpiration on the lower surface of leaf. So here is the stomatal regulation of transpiration. You know that stomata are minute structures and they are large in lower epidermis of the leaf. Now transpiration occurs during the daytime, and it stops during the night time. Now the opening and closing of stomata, they are regulated by the amount of water and salts present in the guard cells. As the stomata opens during the daytime, the diffusion of gases takes place in and out, and it starts fulfilling the need for the photosynthesis, and as well as it allows transpiration process. So here is the structure of a stomata. These are two guard cells. Now these two guard cells, the outer wall is thin and inner wall is thick in nature. So and it also has chloroplast which helps in photosynthesis process. It has nucleus, and when the stomata opens, that means the stoma of the guard cells, it becomes open, and if it is closed, then the stoma of the guard cells, they get closed. So the condition is known as closing of stomata. So how this closing and opening done in stomatas? So during the daytime, these guard cells, they become turgid in nature due to the absorption of the water and the intake of the food in it, and due to this they become turgid in nature, and the opening in between these two guard cells, they become open, they become wide in nature, and the state is known as opening of stomata. But during night time, the food which is manufactured here, it transported through the epidermal cells or the side cells of the stomatas, and guard cells, they become flaccid in nature, and stoma of these guard cells, it becomes closed. So this is the closing of stomata. Now cuticular transpiration. Cuticular transpiration is done by cuticle, because cuticle, it is a waxy layer which is present on the epidermis of the leaf. Now the thickness of the cuticle, it depends on the plant to plant, because deserted plants, they have thick cuticle, whereas plain plants, they have thin cuticle. So however, some evaporation, whatever evaporation or whatever transpiration is done, it depends on the thickness of the cuticle. The cuticle is thick, then the lesser is the evaporation and lesser is the transpiration process. Next is lenticular transpiration. Now lenticels, they are special openings that develop on the barks and older stems in place of stomatas, and all the diffusion of gases that takes place from these lenticels. Now these lenticels, they never get closed, they remain open all the time. This is all for today, children. Next we'll read about the factors which affect transpiration process. Thank you and have a nice day.